Using AI in the personal statement, is it a time-saving strategy or a risky shortcut? Let's talk about it. So in my opinion, AI tools are here to stay and they're going to continue to get better. So instead of taking a blanket approach that it's totally unacceptable to utilize AI in your personal statement, instead I'm going to talk about how you can use it as a tool to help you in writing your personal statement while maintaining academic integrity. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Michelle and I'm the founder of MSW Helper. MSW Helper is a platform dedicated to helping people who are applying to social work programs in getting accepted to their dream school. We help applicants by editing their personal statements, working with them to create the best application possible, and by providing free resources to our community to help them learn how to make their application stand out. So let's talk about how to use AI tools effectively and the pros of using AI. So first, AI tools like ChatGPT can really help with the writing process. Notice I'm not saying writing it for you, but supporting you with the process of writing your personal statement yourself. One of the best ways to use ChatGPT is as a brainstorming tool or as an assistant that can help you organize your own thoughts and ideas. So obviously what you don't want to do is use AI to write your personal statement for you. If you try to put the prompts into an AI engine and spit out a personal statement, it's going to give you something that when you first glance at it might sound okay, but it doesn't actually reflect you and your experience, and it really won't be what schools are even looking for. Not to mention that would probably be considered plagiarism and you would probably get in trouble from an academic integrity standpoint. However, a good way to use AI would be to, assist with developing your response to a prompt. So let's say a school was asking you, what social work skills do you bring to the program? It might be helpful to ask an AI tool, what are some common social work skills? That's going to give you some ideas and things to go off and might give you some ideas that you didn't already think of yourself. To take it a step further, you could ask an AI tool, okay, based on my experience in X, Y, and Z, what social work skills would I have likely developed through those roles? It's probably going to do a good job making a guess at some of the skills that you've probably gained through some of those roles if you provided enough context. So then using that information, you can form some connections yourself and develop your own response using the ideas that ChatGPT or another AI tool gave you. Another good use of AI is helping you with writer's block. So a good example is, when you start writing a sentence and you're not sure how to end the paragraph or end the sentence and you kind of leave it blank to come back to later. Before a couple years ago, you just had to, figure out a way to end that sentence. And sometimes that could take a few hours or even a few days to come back to. Now, when you come across those sorts of situations, that's something where you could plug that sentence into ChatGPT and say, give me 3 to 5 ways to end this sentence. And that's really helpful because it can keep the process moving along instead of stopping you when you aren't feeling as creative. Again, you want to be very careful that you're not just copying and pasting what an AI tool is giving you. You want to make sure that everything that you are writing in your personal statement is true to you and authentic, but it can be really helpful in those situations to move through writer's block. It can also be really helpful for editing and grammar. And I think this is a really important consideration, especially for social work programs. I really believe that your writing ability is not directly correlated to your ability to be an amazing social worker. And there are some people who we really need to encourage to get into the field and become social workers. And at the same time, those same people may experience barriers in academic settings. So I'm talking about people who maybe speak English as a second language, those who have disabilities, or those who are first generation students. So I would argue that using AI or online tools to help with editing and grammar can help close that gap for groups of people who we really need to empower to get into the field. All right, so let's talk about some of the cons or limitations of AI tools in writing the personal statement. I think one of the biggest challenges with ChatGPT or other AI tools is that it can be a slippery slope. It is very easy for you to punch something in and have it spit out something that sounds kind of okay. And so it makes it really hard for us as the user to have those boundaries and ensure that we are using AI tools in a way that is in line with integrity and forces us to still be part of that writing process. And I find that if you lean too heavily into AI tools, it can really limit your creativity and critical thinking skills because you're kind of outsourcing it to a tool to do it for you without forcing yourself to go through that process yourself. And I also find that when you get something generated by AI, it's very hard to go back and rewrite it in your own words because the undertone of the message is still going to be there. And yeah, you're kind of just missing you in the writing, which I think especially when it comes to a personal statement, it's really important that you are reflecting your thoughts and your ideas and your experiences because that's what schools are looking for. One of the other big limitations is that a lot of schools have taken a strong stance against using AI tools, and using AI can get you in trouble with academic integrity and plagiarism, which even if you are using it for things like brainstorming and helping with the writing process, it's really hard to define where that line is and when it's okay to use it and when it's not okay to use it. I think the other challenge that schools are having is that it's very difficult to prove whether somebody has used AI tools. I know a lot of schools have their own tools in place to detect AI, but my understanding is that those tools are not always reliable. And I'm hearing from students who are getting blamed for using AI when they didn't. And at the same time, AI tools are going to continue to get better and better, where it's going to be very difficult to determine whether AI was used or not. And then the other big consideration is that just because something sounds good doesn't mean that it is high quality work. I am seeing more and more personal statements that were very clearly generated fully by AI, and you can kind of tell that the person who wrote it doesn't fully understand what the AI tool spit out. And there's a lot of things that are either contradictory, wrong, or not in line with social work values. From their perspective, they're seeing something that sounds professional, that has a lot of buzzwords, but it really lacks substance and isn't in line with what schools are looking for. So again, I think that really highlights why it's so important to use AI tools as an assistant for you rather than relying it to complete a task fully for you. Okay, so to sum it up, AI tools are not going anywhere. I really believe that they're going to continue to get better. And instead of taking a strong approach against using AI at all, I think it's important to have conversations about how we can use AI tools to help us write something stronger that is still in line with our own critical thinking and our own ideas. If you have any thoughts or ideas, I would love to hear what you think about using AI in graduate school applications or even in school in general, or what your experience has been as a student who is navigating this landscape of now having AI tools at your disposal and navigating that in school settings. Also, if you are going to be writing a personal statement in the next couple of months or the next couple of weeks, I'm going to link some free resources below, including our personal statement template to help you start brainstorming and getting your ideas together.